My name's Tighe. I'm 43 years old. I'm married to Louise. I have two children, Alex, age 8, and Ellie, age 6. We live in a small village in County Durham called Staindrop and run a business in Durham City called printing.com.
I'm Louise Tighe and I run a business with my husband Howard. I'm the company secretary there. I do the accounts, the marketing for the business and the general day-to-day administration.
I think one on here, one on there. I've been thinking about taking life insurance and critical illness insurance out for a number of years. I realised how important it was. But like most people, I realised how important it was, but actually never did anything about it. I met with an IFA friend of mine, Phil Brown, here at home one night, and we spent a number of hours going through different policies. But one of my main criteria was something I'd read in the paper, which was how many different illnesses the policy covered. There were a number of cheap policies out there, but they only covered a short number of illnesses, and some expensive policies which obviously covered a lot of illnesses. I needed to find something in between, and the one policy that really stood out was bright grey.
And it was about £70 a month all in all. But no, you just don't think that you're ever going to claim on that policy.
On the night of July the 23rd, it was Louise's birthday, and I decided to buy her something off of eBay. I'd placed a bid, but the auction actually finished at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I needed to come down at 5 to 7 to make sure that I obviously got a bid price in. I woke up about 5 to 7 and found that my right arm and my right leg, I had pins and needles. Tried to get out of bed and it was almost like having a dead foot. I managed to get out of bed, and as long as I leant against the wall, I was quite fine. I didn't consider for 1 minute there was anything wrong with me. I worked my way down the corridor, down the stairs, stumbled somewhat on the stairs. I walked through the house and got to the patio doors at the back of the house, and basically opened the patio doors and fell out onto my face. And I suppose it was at that point that I realised that the problem was more serious than I'd first realised. I went to get back up and I couldn't get back up, and I had to crawl back into the house. I crawled into the house, got to the bottom of the stairs and thought I didn't want to crawl up the stairs because I didn't want to scare the children or wake the children, so I thought it was better that I crawled up the stairs, shook Louise and said call an ambulance, and as I tried to get back up off the floor in the hallway, I couldn't get up. So I knew then I was going to have to call Louise. And it was then I went to call her and then realised also I couldn't call either, I'd lost my voice. So basically I was at the bottom of the stairs grunting and banging on the floor. Unfortunately it was sufficient to wake Louise up and she came down the stairs. And unfortunately she obviously came down the stairs and found me laying on the floor. We didn't know probably for a week or two how serious it was. And we couldn't be given answers as to what my progress or what the likely outcome was. So Louise really was on her own, with two children, husband in a hospital, and not knowing really where things were going.
And the phone rang, which it was doing quite a lot of, and whilst people were wishing me well and wanting to help, I found it so, somebody else is ringing, what do they want? I need to go to see Howard. And it was this woman, she introduced herself to me. She was Jan, and she was a nurse from Bright Grey. Jan explained to me her role with Bright Grey. She was there basically to offer support, guidance, sources of information to people in my situation who obviously, because your spouse, mother, father, whoever, is in hospital, you get forgotten about, and nobody tends to think about that poor person. It's all focused on obviously on the person who's in hospital undergoing the stroke or critical illness.
As part of the policy, Bright Grey offer a helping hand service which assists me or the family in making the recovery after coming out of hospital. It's really for those things that aren't normally covered by an insurance policy. When I came out of hospital, Jan from Red Arc called me and basically said, what help do you want?
No, I just want to have a look at your triceps. Straighten it out, go and push it, push it, push it. Oh, now that is better. My name is Kirsty Pitley and I'm a physio that works in private practice, predominantly with patients that have suffered neurological damage. And Howard obviously got in contact with somebody that was able to give them my name, that knew that I was working in private practice, and as a result contacted me via that, and I believe that he got some funding from his critical illness cover in order to pay for continuing therapy.
I could actually get very emotional thinking about Bright Grey, because they've almost been a friend, an ally, somebody who was on our side. And Jan, if she hadn't have had that calming influence on me, because I was harebrained, I was scatty, I didn't know what to do, I didn't know what the future held, for somebody to actually put something into perspective for me and to tell me that no matter what, it was going to be okay.
We're quite lucky in that I've regained a lot of my faculties, and the money has been very useful to pay things off like mortgages. The reality is that the small amount of money that we got after the payout, which was the helping hand amount, and it's not a lot of money, was probably more important in my recovery than actually the cheque. That small amount of money that Bright Grey gave us, that, to be honest, I didn't even know existed, brought somebody to the house who could help me recover far more than I ever could have done without it.
What Bright Grey have done for Howard by allowing him to have more therapy is give him his arm back, give him his mobility back, so that he can carry on as a young man with a young family to do what he needs to do and what he wants to do. And that's important. It's not about what you just need to do, it's about what you want to do as well. So they've given him the opportunity to explore fully what his rehabilitation potential is, and he's done it.